and he mailed it to me. When I opened them, I read all of them. And I come across one letter from an 8th grader, and I'm reading that she intended to kill herself on Thursday. I was shocked. And I called the teacher. Do you know that Nancy wanted to kill herself? She's suicidal. He was not aware of it because he didn't read the letter.
Yeah.
So I sent him a copy of the letter. And you'll be surprised. I have over 100 letters of the same nature. I don't know why young people want to kill themselves. But it's very unfortunate. What I can tell you for sure, because later on I talked to the teacher and to the counselor, this girl did not kill herself. And obviously I was very gratified that I saved a young child's life.
Yes, she signed.
Why did she change her mind?
Yeah.
It's very simple. She realized that her problems were so trivial in comparison to my problems at her age. They can relate to it. And the other letter, you have it right in my book, is from a senior in high school that her mother passed away in ovarian cancer. And she was devastated because she was very close to her mother, and she had suicidal thoughts. But then, when she heard my story, that I lost 123 members of my family, and she still have a daddy, grandparents, siblings. You, Mr. Wiener, at my age, lost everybody. So you see, they get a complete different perspective about life.
This book should be in school for children to read and understand, because it's written in a language that it's not difficult to understand. You can read and be in your shoes. I was telling you before that when I read your book, you took me right in with you. I was there. I could feel your cold when you got a cold shower all night long in the cold water, right? And there I am in my own shower at home with this hot water coming down on my body and soap, and I'm in a fluffy towel to dry myself with. And so it's a joke for us to complain about anything.
It reminds me, yesterday I spoke and the audience asked me, what the first thing that you did when you were liberated? When somebody gave you an offer to stay in her house. I took a hot shower. After so many years not having a hot shower, it was such a luxury for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plato said 2,400 years ago, an appreciative mind is a great mind. And that is what I'm trying to convey to those who listen to me, either in my book or in my live audiences, to appreciate. And there's so much to be appreciative for in this blessed country. Start with personal freedom. It is so precious. The new book came out not a long time ago. It's called The Third Reich at War. It's documented, written not by a Holocaust survivor, by an American professor. And he says in his book that documented a German soldier wrote a letter to his wife. How are you? How are the kids? I don't think that we are going to win the war. For that one sentence, he was executed because he demoralized the German army. You can go out here and say, I hate Obama or hate Bush. Nothing is going to happen to you. You can say anything you want. You can associate with anybody you feel like, and so on and so on. Personal freedom is so precious, and this has to be appreciated. When I go to prisons, and I go to prisons quite often, not because of an offense, but to talk to those prisoners, you'll be surprised how they appreciate, and they tell me that I changed their life. Even though they have been sentenced for life, and they have no chance for parole, they feel that I had a very positive impact. Why? Because when they compare the conditions in the prison, if you want to compare it, it's like a hotel comparison to a camp. The other day I spoke in Gig Harbor. It's a prison of 900 women in the state of Washington. And one lady stands up, she says, Mr. Wiener, how was medical care in concentration camp? Because our medical care here is not so good. So I told her, none. What? What do you mean none? Period. We never got any medical care. So she realized how well off she is in that prison.
Yeah, in the medical.
And you have to pay $100 to keep, every day, to keep a prisoner in that environment.
And the medical stuff that was going on in the concentration camp, you did not even want to go close to it, correct?
Absolutely. First of all, their life is not in danger. They have visitors, which we didn't have. They are not starving. Believe you me, I ate lunch with them, so I know that they are not starving. They are not being beaten every day. I can go on and on and on. There's no complaint. And above everything else, I didn't commit any crime. I was only 15 years old. I was a young boy. Why? Why did I deserve such a treatment? For them to be incarcerated, there is a reason. There was no reason for me to be incarcerated.
And you were in 5 concentration camps, correct?
In 5, they're all not concentration camps. There were 4 of them. The first 4 were considered to be slave labor camps.
Yeah.
The last one, Waldenburg, was a real concentration camp. The basic difference is that in the last camp we were guarded by the SS. And the SS, these are special units of German soldiers who were quite brutal. And again, as I mentioned before, they took away from me everything what I had from home. One very important point that I always mention it, in that first camp, Lechame, I learned something very important. I had the impression that only me, because I happened to be a Jewish boy, that I was oppressed. But marching to work in Blechame, I saw so many different groups. Jehovah's Witnesses, gypsies, homosexuals, undesirable, socialists, so many different groups, maybe 30, 40 different groups. What did I learn? Every Jew was a victim, but not every victim was a Jew. Please remember that. It is my personal conviction. If Hitler would have won the war, I tell it to my audiences, you wouldn't be here in a free society. Hitler had a plan. Heute Deutschland, morgen über alles. Today we are in Germany. Tomorrow we shall be everywhere. You don't have blue eyes and blonde hair. You are not a pure-blooded German. I'm going to enslave you. And if I feel like, I am going to annihilate you. It's very well documented. So that is my point about appreciation. Appreciate the freedom in this blessed country.
Mr. Wiener, what do you say to people that even dare to say no such thing happened? There was no Holocaust.
It's very painful, and a prominent people like the president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, goes to the United Nations and he says, the Holocaust is a myth. How dare he say so? And he is a leader of a nation of Iran, 70 million people. And they are supposed to listen, and some of them believe what the president say. It's very, very painful. It is distorting history. And as I mentioned, I sent him my book when it came out. I sent my book to the president of Iran.
Good for you.
And every year, once a year, I'm sending him a letter and attaching pictures that the Holocaust did happen. And in my last letter, I attached a copy of the check that I've been getting from Germany every month for the last 60 years. And I asked him, if there was no Holocaust, why do I get a check from Germany? And why don't you get a check from Germany?
Yeah.
He never answered me, but I hope one day he will.
So I also read that you came to America and you were encouraged to be Americanized by changing your first and last name, but you chose to keep your name. Why was that?
I was suggested to change my name, but I didn't do it because out of respect of my family and to retain, because I'm the only survivor of my family, to keep that name alive. So I was very reluctant to change my name. And here I am at the age of 86, and I'm going to die with that name.
It's a very good name, by the way.
Thank you. You know what Alter means? Alter means old in German.
Oh, really?
So I'm old from day one.
But you are a winner, though.
I'm sorry?
You are a winner.
Not a winner. I wish I would be a winner. I'm a wiener, but not a whiner.
But not a whiner, but a winner to me. Do you think that adversity can be an invitation to spiritual growth, or does it depend on each individual?
The absolute question. I personally am convinced, not because of my philosophy, but because of my life experience, that all the problems in the world can be spared or saved if we are not prejudiced or stereotyping. It doesn't make sense. We are all equal. And I always mention that at one point a German woman risked her life for me by leaving sandwiches. Risked her life for me 30 times. 30 days, 30 times. And this happened after a German guard punched me and knocked out many of my teeth. He was a German and she was a German. They're both the same nationals. But look at the difference. One was wicked and the other one was a righteous person. What did I learn? That you are going to find good people and bad people in every ethnic group. That stereotyping and prejudice is completely absurd. And Voltaire, the 18th century philosopher, said, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. So I feel, and what I try to convey to the students, that it doesn't make any sense. And I just mentioned it yesterday, that I got a letter from a student. He says, you know, I used to hate all the Mexicans, but not anymore. So there is an impact. They get the message here.
They get the message, yes.
A German woman. She heard on the radio and she listened, and she read in the paper that I am an Untermensch, subhuman, and she's a master race, superior. She risked her life for me 30 times. Why? What motivated her? You think about it. I'll never know, because I couldn't locate her. I made an effort to locate her after the war, but I didn't know her name or her address. But I hope that God is going to reward her for her righteous deeds, not just for the sandwich, for the mere fact that she risked her life for me. And she taught me such an important lesson, that prejudice and stereotyping is absurd. And I'm trying to convey that my personal conviction that it is so important. And we can solve our problems of diversity. What is wrong with diversity? We can learn from each other. On what basis did Hitler consider me to be inferior? What basis? It's exactly like the other day a student asked, Mr. Wiener, you keep saying that Hitler considered you to be inferior. Wasn't Albert Einstein a Jew? So yeah, Albert Einstein happened to be a Jew. He was not a genius because he was a Jew. He just happened to be a genius, but he was not inferior. Jonas Salk, who invented vaccination against polio, he saved hundreds of millions of people's lives. According to Hitler, Jonas Salk was inferior. Does this make sense? I'm asking you. I'm asking the world. Does this make sense?
No,
we are all equal. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense to determine somebody's character or ability based on the color of the hair, or the color of the eyes, or the color of the skin? If you have an open mind, you'll come to the same conclusion, that prejudice and stereotyping is absurd.
If anyone, and I'm sure everyone that's watching, wants to learn more about Mr. Wiener's book, from a name to a number, 64735. I hope everyone remembers this name. It's a true autobiography. What I would do is get the book so you can get the full story of what went on. This is a historical book.
If I still have a minute, I would like to, why I wrote that book.
Yes.
I went to a church, and at the end of my presentation, an older gentleman approached me with tears in his eyes, and that is what he said. Mr. Wiener, I was an officer in the American Army in 1945. I was one of the liberators of Buchenwald, a very infamous camp in Germany. I remember what we saw, what we found in those camps. I have nightmares till this very day. Please promise me that you are going to put your story in print. Do it for my children and for my grandchildren. This is the only reason that I wrote that book. I have no financial interest in it. But I promised him, and that is the reason that I wrote that book.
Thank you, Mr. Wiener.
Thank you.
Thank you.